Have you ever been on a Minecraft server and built a tree or cobble farm only to realize the TNT duper it uses doesn't work? Or perhaps, like some of my friends, you just don't like duping and are looking for a glitchless way to farm blocks like stone, logs, and concrete. Either way, there is a simple solution, and it has been under our noses for a while now. Hello everyone, my name's Emdy, and behind me here is the humble end spawn platform. This basic 5x5 of obsidian seems rather useless at first glance, usually only being used for obsidian farms, and up until about a year ago, it pretty much was. All this changed, however, in the late stages of the release of version 1.21. In what was supposed to just be a bug fixing pre-release, a tiny change also snuck in, one that could change the way we use the platform forever. Before the pre-release, whenever an entity went through an end portal, the 5x5 of obsidian would regenerate, and 3 blocks of air above it were cleared, straight up deleted like they never existed. Now with the pre-release, the blocks don't just vanish, but they break as if they were mined and drop as an item. This change is huge, and I'm surprised that even now, over a year later, very few people have actually used it to its full potential. Trust me, I've looked, but the most I've seen is a couple of cobble farms and a few concrete converters. But those usually employ things like carpet or sand dupers to send items through the portal, and that's not something everyone wants to or can do. So that's what I'm here to showcase today: the true potential and simplicity the End platform has to offer, a quick tutorial on how you can use this with your farms, along with some farm modules I made, and finally my design for a practical Omni-Farm that you can build to get all these blocks automatically without a single block of TNT. Let's talk about how it works really quickly. When an entity goes through the end portal, whether it's a projectile, mob, or player, the end platform pops into existence in a fixed location in the end. Even if you were to remove it, the next time something comes through, it's right back. Along with this, as I mentioned before, any blocks that happen to be above the platform, up to 3 blocks up, break and drop their items. This effectively becomes an explosionless and playerless blast chamber. This comes with 2 main issues, first being that the location of the platform is fixed, so you have to design your farms around it. There's no easy way to avoid this, unfortunately. That's the main trade-off. The second issue that we actually can address is that you need to send some kind of entity through the end portal with no real way of sending it back, unlike how nether portal chunk loaders work. Sending an entity through the end fountain sends it back to world spawn, not the stronghold portal, so you can't really cycle items around. You probably don't want to just periodically send junk items through, as that would mean you have to restock the overworld side frequently, and that gets annoying. The solution to this problem is a super simple trick I helped my friend Scorpio with a few years ago in his first obsidian farm, and since then it's a method I've seen used many a time by various people, and it all revolves around this goofball, the snow golem, which will shoot snowballs at any target it finds. As you can see, all we have to do is keep a snow golem in a boat positioned at just the right height so that its eye level, this red line here, is inside the end portal's hitbox. We achieve this alignment using some soul sand or mud under the boat since it's a little less than a full block. Also note, a raft cannot be used here since the golem sits at a different height than that. To get the golem to shoot, we can use the most common mob in a stronghold, the silverfish. Also in a boat but away from the snow golem with a fence gate in between. What this setup does is give the snow golem a target to shoot at, which it will, firing snowballs every second or 20 game ticks when the gate is open. This is useful information later. These snowballs spawn at the eye height of the golem and are hence instantly teleported to the end where they regenerate the platform. It's really that simple. Since the player won't be in the overworld when this is going on, we need some way to load the chunks and keep it running. Previously, this would need another portal chunk loader, but there's a better way these days: ender pearls. For those that don't know, in 1.21.2 and above, ender pearls now load the chunk they are in enough to process entities. The 8 chunks around this chunk are also loaded, but they don't process entities, just things like redstone components. These are known as lazy chunks. Keep this in mind for later. So basically, your entire chunk loader is the soul sand bubble column, which should be placed in the chunk your snow golem is in. With that done and running, let's hop through and take a look at the end side. Here we see the platform itself and a very simple but very powerful item collection using a hopper minecart eater, the output of which goes into a storage of your choice. This is the foundation for your blast chamber, and technically it's complete. If you place or generate any blocks on the platform, you'll see they get broken every time a new snowball comes through. The items that spawn get collected by the carts and are sent to storage. I'll quickly discuss some of the design choices with this before we go forward. I've opted for a calibrated sculk sensor under the platform, listening for projectiles landing and items dropping, using signal strength 2 into the side. This makes the collection turn on automatically when the platform starts to break blocks, but if you don't want to use sculk, you can just turn it on manually with a lever. This sensor triggers the comparator pulse extender, that unlocks a 4-hopper loop, which is the clock that sends hopper minecarts onto the rails, where they run a little beyond the 5x5 to make sure they don't miss any items. Then the carts drop into the eater, the cart item is collected, and the collected drops land up in the water stream. With this base, we can attach basically any farm with a block stream output to this, and it'll just work. I'll show some examples like a cobble generator, basalt generator, tree farm, concrete converter, log stripper, and dirt to mud converter. I'll provide schematics to all of these attachments in the description, but you're not limited to just what I've made. With a bit of work, you can adapt other people's designs to use this instead of TNT duping. For example, my friend Cami Blank has this rooted dirt farm that normally uses TNT duping or a block storage, but instead you can just run the output over the platform and it'll collect it that way. To turn off the snowball firing, there's a neat trick I like to use. Having to set your spawn in the stronghold and taking the end fountain back can be annoying and easy to forget even. To remedy this, I've employed a little trick first shown by YouTuber Dark a while back. The way it works is you have a fishing bobber in lazy chunks, while you leave the area via a portal. The line would snap, but the fishing bobber entity isn't removed because it doesn't tick in lazy chunks, and thus the check it does for a nearby owner doesn't run. That bobber is still however tied to you and your ID as the player, so if you take any fishing rod and try to cast the bobber, it'll actually delete the older one since the distance check will run when you use a fishing rod, regardless if the bobber itself ticks or not. We can detect the removal of the bobber with redstone like a pressure plate and trigger anything we like. The way to hook this up is by having the pearl stasis on the edge of the chunk with the snow golem, while keeping a pressure plate in the next chunk. By connecting the plate to the trapdoor and fence gate, we can make it so that the blast chamber will only run when there's an ender pearl in stasis and a fishing bobber on the plate. As you enter the end, you'll notice the rod disconnects, but since the snowballs keep coming, you know it's still working. To turn off the blast chamber, all you have to do is cast a fishing rod and you're instantly teleported back. The snow golem stops shooting and the chunk loading stops. I would however recommend a simple pulse extend attachment to the stasis chamber so you aren't instantly recalled, but instead have a bit of buffer between the golem turning off and you getting teleported back. I should warn you that this trick may get patched someday, so as always check the description for any updates to the design. The great thing about the end platform is that it doesn't need the blocks to be stationary or moving to break it. No matter the state, they will drop, unlike with withers or some TNT blast chambers where syncing the block stream is required. This makes it very flexible and easy to adapt farms to, so I look forward to more people adopting this and making full use of it. Now I want to quickly run through the farm modules I made and explain the design choices so that you know what to look out for if you build them or are designing some of your own. We'll start with the cobble farm as it's pretty simple. The piston layout is rows of 5 staircased a block apart to make space for lava diagonally above. The water it needs flows in from the side from these waterlogged stairs. You only need one lava source for the entire module as it flows down from top to bottom, going above the middle pistons. The way we power them is with some redstone dust above, where the middle pistons get powered via quasi-connectivity, since we can't have a conductive block above them as the lava needs to flow. All the redstone is connected to a 30 game tick clock on the side. This clock has to be exactly 30 game ticks, otherwise it'll desync with the lava flow speed, which is also 30 game ticks, and cause gaps in the stone generation leading to lower rates. The reason I opted to go for the pushing layout instead of generating the cobble directly on the platform like some others do is for a couple of reasons. First, the pushing layout only takes up one side of the platform, allowing you to attach something else if you want to the other sides, and you can also turn it off when you want to run something else. Additionally, it's the only true lossless layout since the stone doesn't break right next to lava and have a chance to burn, so we don't have to do any cursed cart spam. The rates for one cobble module are 36,000 cobble per hour. Please note that for item collection, you need a minimum of 4 hoppers collecting the drops as hoppers can only handle 9,000 items per hour. Similarly, for the basalt generator, we have a staggered layout, but we actually push the basalt up and then across because of the generation requirements. Basalt needs soul soil below and lava next to blue ice in order to generate, so the easiest way to do this is by alternating lava and blue ice and pushing the soul soil up once it generates. The basalt module also runs on a 30 game tick clock, with some simple wiring to do the pushing sequence. The rates are therefore the same as the cobble module at 36,000 basalt per hour. I've also intentionally not kept this lava right next to the platform, as the block updates from the platform can cause the lava flow to desync from the piston push-in, and can cause the basalt to not generate due to how liquid flow scheduling works. Next, let's look at the concrete converter. Not a lot to say here. It's a piston on a 4 game tick clock, and a dropper that fires when a block is placed. You fill the chest with powder, keep some in your main hand, and hold right click, placing the concrete powder next to a waterlogged leaf, and the dropper refills your hand with the new powder. If you're playing in 1.21.9 or higher, you can set your right click to a toggle instead of hold, so you can run this and any other placement modules hands-free. The height you place this at is important, by the way. It should be positioned such that the blocks output at the top of the platform, so you can have blocks above. The ceiling prevents any concrete items from flying up and landing on the block stream where they would get stuck and despawn, losing some concrete over time. With this module, you can convert 18,000 concrete per hour. If you want to convert multiple types of concrete, you will have to block your inventory slots so the new powder doesn't go into a different slot before you finish placing the old one. For single type conversion, no prefill is needed. In a similar vein, we have the simple log stripper that runs on an 8 game tick clock, since in vanilla when you hold right click, you place and use in 4 game tick intervals. Keep your axe in your main hand, logs in your offhand, and extra logs in the chest. Look at the log in front and hold right click, or toggle it in the settings. You should see all the logs getting stripped and your offhand refilling with more logs. Unlike the concrete converter, however, you need to manually switch when doing different log types, since the offhand slot doesn't automatically populate. With this, you can strip 9,000 logs per hour. Next, we have an 8 game tick dirt to mud converter that runs similarly to a design El Mango made some years back. We have 2 dispensers, one pre-filled with empty bottles and the other with full bottles, and a hopper connecting them. When a block arrives in front of the dispenser, it conducts power and activates the dispenser, dispensing the bottle, which converts the dirt, and then the empty bottle gets pulled in the hopper below into an existing stack. We detect the activation and power the other dispenser later, causing it to fill and spit out a water bottle that is then sent up to refill the top dispenser, and the cycle continues. It's possible to make this without the glass bottle pre-fill, but it makes it significantly more complex, so I feel it's better to just get your glass bottles from, say, a witch farm, as you only need a bit over 9 stacks. Like I said, this converter runs at 8 game ticks, which means you can convert 9,000 dirt to mud per hour by putting your dirt in this chest up here and holding right click with a stack in your hand here. With a small edit to this, you can have 2 converters in one and switch between stripping logs and converting mud with just a flick of a lever, as you can see here. All functionality is preserved, so if you don't want to build 2 separate modules, might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this. It runs at the same speed as you would expect, so 9,000 per hour of either mud or stripped logs. I'll quickly cover this attachment here, which is the concrete converter that handles 72,000 concrete per hour. But I don't like it because unfortunately, unlike the other designs, it doesn't work at full speed with vanilla inputs, even when you rebind keys to place faster. You either need an auto clicker or a server-side mod like Carpet that allows you to click 20 times a second or faster. If you don't have that, it will still work but not nearly at full speed. And honestly, I don't know why. There's some weirdness with how the game handles fast block placement. Just for your information, this uses a 5 game tick clock with a 0 tick output, so the pistons aren't blocking placement. Since you place 5 blocks at a time, this effectively becomes 1 block per tick, giving us a 72,000 per hour rate. If a block is successfully placed, it drops a replacement item from the input above for the player to continue placing. To use this, distribute your items across the 5 chests on top, and then flick the lever and start your clicker of choice, aiming at the close edge of the furthest block. Finally, let's look at this neat little tree farm designed by my friend Akal Gent, which I slightly modified to work with this blast chamber. I tried designing my own farm from scratch, but I basically ended up making a worse version of this. So instead of providing a very suboptimal design, I reached out and asked him if I could use it, and shout out to him for allowing me to. This tree farm can only handle birch, spruce and oak trees as it's made to be simple. So if you want other tree types, you'd have to find other designs to modify yourself, depending on what you need. This farm can net you over 21,000 spruce logs, nearly 20,000 birch logs, and over 16,000 oak logs per hour. To use it, all you have to do is fill these chests with bone meal. If you're planting oak trees, you have to turn on this lever at the top first. Then coming down, flick the lever on the ground. Go in, stand on the chest, and then look at the dirt and hold right click with at least 10 saplings in your hand. The farm uses simple crushers and a water-based sapling collection. The 8 tall log column output is split and transformed into 2 streams that the platform can process using some detection-based piston pushers. The tree growth is detected by a budded piston that gets updated by the clock to extend when a log activates from above via quasi-connectivity. If you didn't understand a word I just said, check out my Practical Redstone series. I explain all of that and more there. I should probably mention here that if you're interested in build tutorials for any of these modules, let me know with a like on the video and a comment below. I didn't include them in this video as I'm not sure if there's demand for it. So do let me know, and when it's done, I'll link it in the description below. While you're there, YouTube has a new hype feature to help out smaller creators. And since it's been a while since my last upload and you made it this far, It would really help me out if you help show the algorithm that this is something worth watching. Also, if you're looking for effective designs like this, I can't recommend the Technical Minecraft Catalog, or TMCC for short, enough. We archive hundreds of designs at various levels with all the information you need to build them, and all of them are held to a very high quality standard, so you don't have to worry about them not working. Link as always down below. Now, as far as storage is concerned, there's a few things to keep in mind. The first is what items you're actually farming, and the second is the speed at which they are farmed. If you're doing mud or strip logs, all you need is a single hopper to collect them. If you use an item filter, you can loop the water stream around to make sure it doesn't skip the filter on cooldown. For concrete, you need at least double hopper speed filters or 2 single speed filters for each type of concrete you're converting. Or you could just skip the filters entirely and collect the items unsorted. For stone and basalt, the output is 4 times hopper speed, so a minimum of either 4 single speed sorters or 2 double speed sorters with a loop water stream to collect everything. For oak logs, you need double speed. For birch and spruce, you need triple speed filtering, which can either be done with 3 hopper speed filters or 2 double speed filters to be safe. Again, water stream looping can help. All these filters can run into some box loaders of equivalent speed. Another option if you don't really care about sorting is by having just chest spam with a 4 hopper speed input, or something like this 8 times hopper speed mixed box loader by Camphor Wood that can handle just about anything you throw at it. The mixed loader is what I've opted to bundle in with the build you'll see in a bit, but if you want to sort your items instead of having messy boxes, you can swap it out for whatever works for you. If you don't know where to find the components I just talked about, like box loaders and filters, I'd recommend checking out the Storage Tech Discord and my friend Nico's Storage Tech series, both linked below. They also have a lot of resources with things like filter guides and more. Now, these modules are fine by themselves, but what if you wanted to use more than one module? Well, you can put 1 or 2 on each side depending on the module, I guess, but what if you wanted all of them? Well, lucky you, I've got just the thing, and it's probably the reason some of you clicked on this video. Behold the Simple Interdimensional Mining Platform, or S.I.M.P for short. Shout out to Potato Noir for that perfect name. It features everything I showed you so far, that being cobble, basalt, oak, spruce, birch, concrete, mud, and strip logs, with space for more attachments. All that without using a single piece of TNT. There's even a compact storage solution and easy access walkways around what is really a dense collection of spaghetti redstone. Even with all this, you still have one side of the platform completely unobstructed, so you don't have to pull any weird shenanigans to get out. You get all of this for very little redstone cost and a pretty simple build if you ask me. The great thing is that it's modular at its core. If you don't want to farm basalt, for example, you can just skip that module and attach something else in its place, even another stone generator if you want. I even took the time to make the schematic sub-region by sub-region. So say you don't want to build the mud converter, just go to schematic placements, configure, and then disable it while keeping everything else. When attaching farms to the blast chamber, you have to make sure that the block stream doesn't come in faster than it can break. This is especially important when inputting from the top, since you only have a 3-block gap. If a block stream is coming in faster than once every 6 or so game ticks, it'll hit the platform below before it can be broken, since the block breaking is in 20 game tick intervals, as that's how fast snow golems shoot. That kind of stream is better inputted from the side where it has 5 blocks to travel, giving you a max input speed of 4 game ticks. If you want faster breaking, you have to rework the overworld side, which in the interest of simplicity I opted not to do. Anyway, that's all from me today. Again, let me know if build tutorials for this are in demand, but until then the schematics will be on Google Drive and the Discord's linked below. I plan on making a post in TMCC and post in the public archive of NoobTech and WaveTech, as those are my main servers. This also means if you need any help with this, please use the help channel of those servers and don't attempt to DM me. I check all those help channels regularly, so I'll be sure to respond. With that said, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and maybe share the video with a friend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.